everybody, welcome back to the chaotic little book corner. I'm out of breath. It is raining out. It is a dreary day. I am in partial hospital, which means basically that 5 days a week I go to group meetings and I learn about trauma and mental illness and things of that nature and how to cope. And that is what I'm doing right now with my life. So again, videos are going to be kind of sporadic, but I'm going to do them as I can. This lovely piece of jewelry, this charm, which is a seahorse, was sent to me by Heather Tucker, who is the author of Clay Girl, and she sent it to me as Jasper, the imaginary seahorse, and I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so I have not done any wrap-ups, so let's do our March wrap-up. I have finished 2 of the 6, well, actually technically 3, but one I finished in April. So 3 of the 6 books that were sent to me shortlisted by the Wellcome Book Prize. So I'm going to talk about 2 of them here in this wrap up, and then I will do a full book review on each, more in depth. So I will kind of skim over them, but I will still mention them. So the first book that I have is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I brought this to hospital with me and I read it 3 times while I was in there. I had a lot of time for reading, so I really don't need to explain too much. I really enjoyed it. It was quite a lovely thing to have, and it was really nice to experience this while in this place where I felt so scared. And then we have Jane Steele, which I also read while in hospital. This one I enjoyed, but not so much. It is Dexter meets Jane Eyre. I really thought I was going to have way more fun with it, but for me, it kind of fell flat. It felt like just a kind of average book, and it felt a little bit rushed. I really wanted to get more in depth into it and feel more connection, but unfortunately that part of it kind of fell flat. However, I really did enjoy how it gave a lot of nods to Jane Eyre in ways that I wasn't expecting. Then the first of the 2 that I read from the shortlist from the Wellcome Book Prize is this, How to Survive a Plague, and it's by David France. This talks about the AIDS epidemic, and I really, really thought this was fantastic. It was scary, and it was intense, and it kind of shocked me, and it gave a lot of perspective to me on how much the AIDS epidemic affected a entire generation and how it affected the LGBTQ community, and it was really, really inspiring and life-changing, and I will talk more about it in its own review. The Gene as well, I will do the same thing. This one is by Siddhartha Mukherjee, and this is The Gene and Intimate History, and this one was fascinating to read. I did not read this while in the hospital, but I did read this while in crisis. So this kind of, for me, gave me a lot of perspective as to how the mental illness gene can be passed down from one to another, and also the trauma and how that can affect the genes, and how cancer can be affected by genes, and all sorts of other medical information. It was really, really fascinating, and I will do a full in-depth review on that. Then we have this. This is Down Among the Sticks and Bones, and it's by Seanan McGuire, and this is the sequel to Every Heart's a Doorway. I really, really loved this. I thought it was so much fun to read, and it was so cute, but really in a good way, and not like a cutesy kind of way. This follows 2 of the characters from Every Heart's a Doorway, Jack and Jill, who are twin girls. One was raised more masculine, one raised more feminine. This really kind of addresses the female, like, adventures and how they can be raised and how that can challenge their status in society and how it can kind of form their overall sense of being and self. I really enjoyed it, and I highly recommend it. If anyone would like to see me do a full in-depth review on the 2 books together, talking about trauma and how they can affect the brain, and how I believe that those books and the Wonderland world and all of those things were the response to children's trauma, let me know in the comments below. Sarah Knight, The Life-Changing Magic of Not Giving a Bop. I enjoyed this. I thought it was good. I thought it helped me with things like giving myself an F budget and trying to put up boundaries and things of that nature. So I will probably go back and reread this, or at least revisit parts of it. I think it was helpful in some ways, but also very, very focused on neurotypical people and their experience. Then this is Tell Me Everything You Don't Remember, The Stroke That Changed My Life, and it's by Christine Hung-Ok Lee, and this is the story of an Asian American who has suffered a stroke. It is written very lyrically and beautifully, and it describes her experience before, after, and during the initial trauma to her brain and what happened and how her experience changed her and her life and her being and her outlook on the world. I really enjoyed that. And then we have this. This is What We Buried, poems by Caitlin Seal. I liked it. It was okay. I was hoping for more. It was recommended by both Lena and Jen Campbell, so I was really hoping for something to blow me away. I didn't feel as moved as I was expecting, so that was kind of a bummer. But it was good. I liked it. It'll stay on my shelf, and I think it's got some good poems, but it wasn't an overall outstanding collection for me. The Hate You Give, this book was incredible, completely eye-opening would be the right word for me. I really, really found this book to be fascinating, interesting, and intricate, and I found that the writing style, while not the highest I have ever read, was really suited to the style of the book. It is the story of a young girl who witnesses a shooting of another Black person in the community by a policeman, and her life is forever changed by that, and it talks about trauma and the aftermath of an experience that wasn't your own, but it was your own, and how it can affect a community and a lifestyle and change the world and change the way that people trust and feel about one another. It was brilliant. I really enjoyed that. It kind of made me shake and like feel so many things, and it really shook my entire being as far as what I know to be true about who to trust. Deep stuff. Then I received this. This is an advanced reader's copy, and it is Damaged People by Bonnie Rozanski. And this I was so excited to get my hands on. Bonnie wrote one of my favorite books from last year, Banana Kiss, which I absolutely adored. And this one will be coming out, I want to say, in October. This is the story of a multi-generational family. You go from different perspectives and different points of view and different points of time. So from the war experience of the grandfather to the trauma of the father during his growing up years, from the trauma of his father, and then his son having trauma as well. So the overlying way that trauma can be let down through generations because of the way that people raise and treat their children after trauma. It is brilliant, wonderful, and I highly recommend it. It is one of my favorite books of the year so far. Then, oh boy, War and Peace. Yes, War and Peace. I did finish this, which was a miracle. I finished it right before I started going into crisis, and I'm glad I did. I liked it. I thought it was a solid read. I enjoyed the way that it followed so many different characters. I thought it was a great classic. All in all, I liked Anna Karenina better. I think that for me, this one, with all of the talk of war and peace in general, it was such a heavy book that upon rereading, I may find it to be more of a favorite. But on the first read, I just found it to be so heavy and intense that I feel like I didn't process everything properly. So I need to go back eventually someday and re-establish myself with this. But I did love it. I listened to the first half on audiobook while I was in the airport in LA coming home with a delayed flight. So that was good. And then, of course, Jenny Lawson, her newest book, You Are Here, an owner's manual to dangerous minds. There we go. This is a coloring book. I myself am not really a good colorer, but I love Jenny Lawson, and anything she comes out with I will pick up, and I loved this book, and I super recommend it to anybody who's trying to find a kind of quirky, fun, adult, mentally stimulating, and potentially focusing on anxiety-ridden coloring book. Does that make sense? Sounds kind of silly. So yeah, those are all the books I read in March. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!